Today we're going to take a look at some of the most desirable post-1950 mosaics there are. We're looking at 48 picks on the board, several different mosaic styles. We have top-notch, Golden Eagle, Bronen, Your Name Here, and Syn-Co, this entire group here. Starting with Top Notch. Top Notch, I believe to be a name brand that was used by a Pittsburgh-based Volkswagen Music, who has been in business, or they have been in business since 1888. And these mosaics, very basic, early 1960s, some sweet tones and variations among them. And we're going to do a little detailed look later on in the video. Moving down to Golden Eagle. Now, I do know the Eagle brand name was used by Gretsch, and they got a trademark for that in 1913. Is Golden Eagle also the same as Eagle? Uncertain, but I'd make a reach and suggest that it most likely is. Another interesting group, especially with their stylized cursive writing there that was popular in the mid-50s to early 60s. And third row here, we've got Bronen, the music store. They've been in business out of Bronx, New York since 1915. And below that, Your Name Here. Now, obviously, Your Name Here is not a company, but used by DeAndrea to help promote the fact that you could get print on a pick. And this was during a time where printing on a pick was still picking up. There were a lot of printed picks being made, but there's not as many as possibly could in terms of who was putting their name on picks at the time. Unlike today, where just thousands of companies, organizations, music stores, etc., have their name on a pick. That wasn't the case during the time in which these were printed. And these are second-generation mosaics going back to 1950s or early 60s. And then we have the Syn-Co group here. The Syn-Co group divided into mediums and thins. There's a variation in the color. Syn-Co standing for Syncordian, in business out of New Jersey, I believe it was, since 1967, and they were gone by 2005. Some of the most desirable mosaics. And right now, let's just take a little detailed look and see why these mosaics are so desirable amongst collectors. Going up to the top notch, the very first pick is rather basic. Nothing striking there. However, we take a look at a few others here. That situation changes. So we see those fine lines in there. And let me get a backdrop here. Use a little black. See if that comes out a little better. Yeah, it certainly does. And you could see those fine snakeskin type lines on the left, and that pick on the right, almost like candy cane like colors. A lot of mother of pearl in there. You could see when I turn that pick, it flashes different colors. So these are really desirable picks. If you run across top notch, you want to keep them. Here's one with a lot of that snakeskin type weaving or webbing. And moving down to the Golden Eagle, a little deeper in color, probably older than the top notch by a few years, based on the lack of mother of pearl. Not that they didn't use mother of pearl back then, but they did. And also the fact that we have some cursive writing going on. But here's two distinctly different Golden Eagles in terms of the celluloid. The writing style is the same, but very pretty. A lot of green on the left and more multi-shades on the right. I've ran into a lot of Golden Eagles in top notches, but only chose to keep 6 of each and disperse the others. But the 6 I chose are not necessarily all the best looking. A few are, but I prefer to choose a diversity of mosaics rather than selecting what I might consider all the best, which turn out to be looking all the same also. So diversity, I think, is a good idea to have, obviously, because that contrast really makes the pick next to it stand out. So Bronen and Your Name Here, we're going to do those both at the same time because they use that type of mosaic, or the style that we call the second generation crayon. And the reason we do is because it's lacking the translucent colors, and these are a lot of deep solid colors here. So we'll take a look at them. If you take a look at that center Bronen there, you can see it actually has the same celluloid style as your name here in terms of that black and yellow cross hatching stripes and some of the other multicolors. The pinky at the end there, a little different blend, of course. That's obvious. And there's another your name here down here that isn't of the second generation French mosaic, and that happens to be this one. Obviously a different batch of mosaic altogether, probably coming a little later, but DeAndrea promoting your name here to let the folks back there know in the 60s or late 50s that you could get your name on a pick. Moving on to the Syn-Cos. Wow, what a stunning group here. Although they lack the webbing we had seen in the top-notch picks right here, they do have some striations and colors going on that are just magnificent. Antonio DeAndrea described for pick tips how he personally selected these this type of celluloid for the owner of the company, who he obviously knew, and the owner requesting something very unique. And we don't really see much of this celluloid anywhere else but with the Syn-Co. And they are indeed a gorgeous pick. I'd like to even get it closer if the camera will focus. Look at the striations on the one on the right. Bring it up real close for you. See if we can catch that. Not quite. A little too close for the camera. And let's grab a few others here. Some more Syn-Cos. These are all the medium gauge Syn-Cos. Just gorgeous picks. Deep mother of pearl. All those lines. And moving down to the thin gauge, we do see a variation. Obvious variation here. And these are pretty as well. And they even show up better, perhaps under or on top of a white background. So let me get that. They did show up quite nicely there, but let's bring in a white background here and see how they show up there. Yeah, they do give a different appearance. Wow. That contrast makes a difference. So we'll throw a few of the others up here as well and see how that affects them, so the viewer could get an idea that what you choose to use as a background is going to affect how the pick appears when displayed. Wow, very nice. You know, at this point, I'm not sure what I like better, the black or the white, because these are showing up very sweet right now. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit on the modern mosaics. When I say modern, that's after 1950. They have print on them. Some of the most coveted. We'll be looking at more vintage mosaics from the U.S., DeAndrea, and from Japan as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you again. Joe at Playmore Picks. And you've reached me at findpick7@yahoo.com. Glad to have you here. And feel free to drop me a line. Bye-bye.